In 2003, Batman: The Rise of Sin Tzu was a video game released for the Sony PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, and Microsoft Xbox. The game was officially connected to the new Batman adventures, as the plot of the game were based off of episodes from the new Batman adventures, which actually ceased broadcasting in the United States in 1999. The main foe of the game was the custom-created character of Sin Tzu, created by longtime comic book artist Jim Lee. At the time, the character was portrayed in some respects as being that of an Asian version of Ra's al Ghul, and the concept was for Batman to have a powerful new Asian-themed villain. But the game itself was flawed, and critics mentioned that there were nothing new in terms of long-term remembrance with the game, as well as dynamics of the game, and it was quickly forgotten upon release. The character of Sin Tzu was born in Southeast Asia, and as a child was abandoned by his parents, taken in by an Indian-themed cult, and later trained in their philosophies in combat skills and techniques. Sun Tzu later developed a mastery of both strategy and the ancient practice of Yan Jin, which is a Chinese or Asian-themed discipline, allowing the channeling of mental energy to enhance one's own physical abilities and properties to gain and grant the user the ability to control other people's minds. With the Yan Jin ability, Sun Tzu later created an army of soldiers from all over the world and attempted to build a reputation as a warlord. Hearing accounts of Batman, he later conceived of a plan to defeat him, arranging to be quote-unquote caught, then placed within Arkham Asylum. Sin Tzu later orchestrated a mass breakout from neighboring Stonegate Penitentiary, using his army to bring about chaos all over Gotham City and to eventually take over the city during the confusion. Sin Tzu even obtained the help from Scarecrow, Clayface, and Bane to fight against Batman, Nightwing, Robin, and Batgirl, who all teamed up to fight against the inmates and villains. But eventually, Sin Tzu was defeated. Nothing more would be seen or heard of from the character until nearly 20 years later, with a minor appearance in the New 52 comic book series from then DC Comics, which would be the character's first technical chronological appearance in the main DC Comics universe. The character was not particularly viewed favorably, as there were no details or facts that set Sin Tzu apart from any other character that plotted against Batman, and there were other longtime characters of Batman that were more appealing from the comic reader or fan's point of view. There were also claims of cultural appropriation, as Sin Tzu is actually a parody of the Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu, author of the iconic Chinese masterpiece The Art of War. Even further, the fact that the symbol used by Sun Tzu is the yin-yang symbol. Combine this with the fact that Jim Lee is an ethnic Korean. There were some discussions about him devising an ill-conceived character of Southeast Asian or Chinese origin, or even heritage. Even with the plan that Sun Tzu had in the game, details from the video game are oddly similar or even copied from an attempt first done by Bane in the Batman comic book storyline Nightfall, where Bane engineers a mass breakout of Arkham Asylum prisoners with the specific purpose of weakening Batman through events in the comics before Bane finally fights him. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because they were a poor, cultured ripoff of other ideas and characters.